Coming in Facebook, coming in YouTube. Getting ready to start my show called Jimmy Rants. Whoa, I get a glare on the Facebook feed. What's up, guys? Trying not to look like a Casper the Friendly Ghost. There we go. I think I toned it down there. Hello, guys. Come on in. Getting ready to start a bonus episode of Jimmy Rants. So, always love to do these 5 p.m. ones. Last week, I didn't do a single 5 p.m. one because I was getting tired really early last week. In fact, today I'm a little bit tired, so I'm going to try to keep my energy up throughout this Jimmy Rants. Hello, Norma. But yeah, usually these 5 p.m. ones are pretty rough when I get sleepy. Well, today it's been rainy all day here today. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Brandy. Followers here over here on YouTube, so thanks for being here as well. Hello, Matthew. So last week I didn't do a single Jimmy Rants at 5 o'clock. I usually try to sneak in 1 or 2 5 o'clock ones, but yeah, last week I was so tired at like 4 p.m. most of the time last week, and so I was in bed early a lot last week. I want to say one day I was asleep, like I was in bed before that, but I fell asleep according to the Oura Ring at around 6:20. 6:20 I was asleep. Hello, PJB. Thanks for being here from Houston, Texas. Hello, Kira. Hello, Christine. Hello, Mike and Elena. Thank you all for being here today. We're getting ready to start my show. It's called Jimmy Rants. It's a show over on Instagram, so we're going to get that show started here. Thanks for all you guys being here today. Share, share, share. Get the word out on your personal pages and various pages that you're a part of a group, so you can share it all over their pages, because this is a real important one we have here for you here today. Hello, Tammy. Come on in. We're getting ready to start my show. And here we go. Hello, Instagram followers. Thanks for being here today. We got a great show in store here on Jimmy Rants, all about a brand new HR 6666, all about COVID-19. Go check it out right now over at Instagram TV. IGTV is where it is. But thank you for being here today on Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. As always, you can engage live in the content. Go follow me over on Instagram at VINLOWCARBMAN. Once you are there, you can engage live, just like Ken and Stacy and all kinds of people are doing right now, watching this live. We also simulcast over on our Facebook page, so thank you guys for being here today. We're also simulcasting on my YouTube live stream as well. So thank you everybody for being here today on Jimmy Rants. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay on IGTV right here on Instagram. But we also put it over on JimmyRants.com. Shortly after we're done with the show, I send it over to my producer, and he makes sure to get this up over on JimmyRants.com. He also throws it up on YouTube, so you can see the past episodes over on YouTube in archive form. And on Tuesdays, on my flagship podcast called The Living La Vida Low Carb Show, we do air episodes from this show. And I think tomorrow we're going to do all the ones about the meat shortages that have been going on since COVID-19. So be sure to listen to that tomorrow, Tuesday, LLVLC.com. Okay, today we have a really interesting topic that is related to some news in COVID-19. I try to give you relevant news about COVID-19 that I don't think you've heard elsewhere. I never try to present it in such a way, any information here, in such a way that's negative, because you get enough of that from the mainstream media. But I do want to bring things to your attention. And it was a couple weeks ago, I first told you about Australia coming up with this app that would allow people to be traced and to warn you if you get close to someone who is diagnosed with COVID-19 or has had it or whatever. And so they're trying to get 40% of the population to participate in this app, and I don't think they're anywhere close to that yet. And then I did a recent Jimmy Rants where I talked about how both Google and Apple are working together to work on this technology called contact tracing. And So now it has moved its way from technology into our government, and there is a brand new bill that was created in the House of Representatives in Congress on May the 1st. It was introduced, and it's called HR, and this is not a joke. When I read this, I thought, okay, yeah, they're pulling our leg. It can't actually be HR, what I'm about to tell you. It's HR 6666. So it's 4 sixes, not 3, for those of you that are biblical scholars. But still, that's eerie that the bill is called HR 6666. It is COVID-19 testing and contacting everyone. It's called the TRACE, T-R-A-C-E Act. And again, it was introduced on May the 1st, 2020 by Representative Bobby Rush out of Illinois. It's introduced in the House Energy and Commerce Committee, and it's been referred to that committee for consideration. Okay, so what does HR 6666 do? It authorizes the Secretary of Health and Human Services to award grants to eligible entities to conduct diagnostic testing for COVID-19 and related activities, such as contact tracing through mobile health units and, as necessary, in people's residences and for other purposes. So there's a whole list of names here. I'm not going to read all the names, but it's a whole bunch of co-sponsors on this bill. So let's read the bill in totality, and then I've got a corresponding story that talks about the bill and some of the backlash about it. To authorize the Secretary of Health and Human Services to award grants to eligible entities to conduct diagnostic testing for COVID-19 related activities, be enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States. This act may be cited as the COVID-19 Testing, Reaching, and Contacting Everyone TRACE Act. It is testing and contact tracing using mobile health units. So the Secretary of Health and Human Services, acting through the Director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, so that's the CDC, may award grants to eligible entities so they can conduct diagnostic testing for COVID-19 to trace and monitor the contact of all infected individuals and to support the quarantine of all such people. So they do that through mobile health units, as necessary, testing individuals and providing individuals with services related to testing and keeping them quarantined at their residence. They can use the funds. A grant recipient under this section may use the grant funds in support of all of the following, which, by the way, the funding $200 billion just for 2020. To hire, train, and compensate and pay for any expenses of individuals, to purchase personal protective equipment and other supplies. It also will give priority to applicants proposing to conduct activities funded under this section in hotspots and medically underserved communities. Applicants that agree in hiring individuals to carry out activities funded under this section to hire residents of the area or community where the activities will primarily occur, with higher priority among applicants described in the paragraph given based on the percentage of individuals to be hired from the area. I know this is incredibly boring. It is actually a bill going through Congress, HR 6666. If you guys are just joining us, we're talking about the COVID-19 TRACE Act. We've got $200 billion set up for contact tracing and other purposes. So finish reading this and you'll find out the details about this. Distribution in selecting grant recipients under this section, the Secretary will ensure that it's distributed across all urban and rural areas. Federal privacy requirements. Nothing in this section shall be construed to supersede any of the federal privacy, including Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996 and the Public Health Service Act. Eligible entity means a federally qualified health center, a school-based health clinic, a disproportionate share hospital, an academic medical center, a nonprofit organization like a church, an institution of higher learning, a high school, or any type of entity determined by the Secretary to be an eligible entity for the purposes of this section. The term emergency period has the meaning given to it from the Social Security Act. The term hotspot means a geographic area where the rate of infection with the virus that causes COVID-19 is above the national average. Medically underserved has the meaning in the Public Health Service Act. And the Secretary is the Secretary of Health and Human Services. They wait until the very end of this whole act to tell you how much it's going to cost. Right here, for fiscal year 2020, it's $100 billion. The news story I saw said $200 billion, but according to this, it's $100 billion, and then such sums as may be necessary for 2021 and any subsequent year. Okay, so that is the act. Again, it's HR 666, and it's the Trace Act. You might have heard about this, maybe you haven't. They're not giving it a lot of play in the mainstream media, but basically there's some people that are having backlash about it. It's $100 billion, it is $100 billion, I misread, sorry. $100 billion grant program that has sparked a backlash from a lot of people who think this is an unconstitutional act. He introduced the act on May the 1st, and it would create grants for healthcare, school-based, academic, nonprofit entities, just like I just read. However, there is a petition that's calling on it to be stopped to prevent the bill from being adopted by Congress. It is not anything yet. It's just in Congress working its way through committee. But the petition, which has since become available, said it's a staying illegal power grab beyond what the Constitution offers to Congress. It's an assault on the people to be deplored by all. It's a massive waste of $100 billion just for this year alone. All right, so here's what's happening with this. The sponsor of the bill, this Bobby Rush, said, until we have a vaccine to defeat this dreaded disease, contact tracing is needed in order to understand the full breadth and depth of the spread of the virus as the only way we will be able to get out from under this. So you'll recall when I told you about this last week that they're trying to input coding into your phone vis-a-vis apps. I even saw one person told me about it that when you do the next iPhone update, just be aware that in there they automatically put that coding on your phone. And so there's ways of going in and uncoding it. So if you've updated your phone recently, you can take that code out if you don't want to be a part of this. But they're going to use any biomarkers that's in your health data on your phone. So if you've got apps that follow health data, I have one where this Oura Ring, and it does have body temperature, it does have heart rate variability and heart rate and all kinds of things. They can have access to that info to try to predict whether I have the symptoms of COVID-19. That's just one example. Obviously, Apple has their own health category. I'm sure Android phones have the same types of things. So just be aware that they are doing that. So his words echoed that of Dr. Crystal Watson, the lead author of a recent report from Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security, which says contact tracing is essential for us to reopen the country in order to save lives, reduce COVID-19's burden on our healthcare system, ease strict social distancing, and confidently make progress toward returning to work and school. The United States must implement a robust, comprehensive system to identify every single COVID-19 case and trace all close contacts of each identified case. So not only are they tracing you, they want to trace you and everyone on your contact list. So if you've got a list of contacts on your phone and they're in close proximity to you, then perhaps you're all forced to be quarantined according to this, what they're trying to do here. Are you scared yet? Is this any kind of like alarm for you? Are you okay with this? Do you think this is the solution? And like I said, this is stuff that they've been working on behind the scenes, trying to get a handle on this. The bill has arrived on the table, and the Democrats have been looking at passing the coronavirus relief bill, which could cost roughly $2 trillion. Such a bill would include funds for testing as well as contact tracing. So not only are they allocating $100 billion for this purpose, but they're also putting it in some of the relief bill. The bill says in part that the Secretary of Health and Human Services, and I read all that earlier, so I don't need to read that again. So, there has been some backlash to this bill. He's received a fair amount of social media backlash, mainly out of concerns for privacy, because like they're sneaking things like they're able to tap into those health apps and put there to contact trace you, they're asking your permission. And I think if we're going to have some kind of a viable solution to get us out of this lockdown situation so the economy can get going again, I think we need to pay close attention and get real about, effective ways to do that. We don't think this is the way to do it. Are you willing to give up the privacy? Are you willing to not have the option of opting in or opting out? I think that's what's got a lot of people up in arms about this, is there's not really any option here to opt in or opt out. Reactions on Twitter have ranged from Hitler comparisons. That always happens. You always know an argument has reached its apex when somebody is accused of something about Hitler. It's happened many times. To suggesting that they want to hire spies and make lepers of those who are identified as sick and just waste money. There is an alternative bill focused on contact tracing privacy that would provide all Americans with more transparency, choice, and control in the collection and use of all personal health, geolocation, and proximity data, and hold businesses accountable to consumers if they use personal data to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. So, a draft of that bill, called the COVID-19 Consumer Data Protection Act, also encourages more transparency about what people's information is being used by companies like Apple and data collectors like Google. So this is one of those issues, guys, that I think we just need to be aware of and know that it's out there. And I really want to see what you guys think about this whole idea of contact tracing, using money to fund for this testing in various areas, and how far does this bill reach? Like, will it get to the point that when we finally do get a vaccine, is it also going to be the point of interest where the vaccine would be disseminated through churches and schools and colleges and all those other places they listed? It's really fascinating to kind of see how they think this needs to end. And do you think this is a solution? Now, I realize there's a lot of people, they're not really paying much attention to this kind of thing, but if you're not paying attention and you don't know about it, you might be shocked when you find out they're actually following you and tracing you. And that's not conspiracy, that's actually what they're doing. Google and Apple both have been working on this contact tracing technology for a little while. And they're basically going to use the apps on your phone, the health apps, to determine whether you're sick or not. And then if you're sick, they're going to basically force you to quarantine and then find all the people in your contact list that you could have come into contact and quarantine them as well. It's kind of an interesting thing, and I'm not saying that this is the answer or it's not the answer. It's just interesting to know what they feel like they have to do in order to get us to the point of getting out of lockdown. So I'm real curious. What do you guys think about this? I mean, from a personal standpoint, I'm not in favor of anybody mandating something. I mean, I get it for the sake of public health. We've got to do things to protect the collective health of everyone. But I just think they might be overstretching themselves just a little bit. And I love that alternate bill is coming out. Again, if you missed the name of the alternate bill, it's called COVID-19 Consumer Data Protection Act. So you can call your congressman about HR 6666. I don't have the number for the Consumer Data Protection Act, but you could probably just say, hey, we support that, because that would give you the opportunity to opt out of that if you don't want to be a part of that. And I know a lot of people that are kind of a part of the conspiracy theories about this that are out there. They're the ones saying, oh my gosh, they're taking away our rights, they're removing our privacy, we're giving up too much, blah, blah, blah. I get those concerns, and those are the people that are probably going to speak the loudest against this. But do you like this idea? Do you want to know? Like if you're walking around and maybe you get an alarm on your phone that says, homeboy over there's got COVID-19. I don't know. Does that let us stop the social distancing? Does that let us not have to wear masks? Does that let us come back to some semblance of normality? I don't have the answers. I'm just throwing this out there as, do you think this is a viable solution to what is obviously going to be a problem until we come up with a solution? All right, I'm going to come to you guys a little bit later. I want to make sure we get plenty of time for you to give your views on this. So we're going to go to Instagram Live first, then over to Facebook Live, and then finally over to YouTube Live. So here we go, you guys. JimmyRants.com is the website. Thanks for being here today on Jimmy Rants. Shirley goes, nope, nope, nope. Yeah, I realize there are people who think this is a hard no. And I get those reasons why. I know why the people that are very hard-nosed about this. Hard-nosed and hard no about this, because they feel like there's maybe been some overreach already, and so this just adds one more layer of that. So I get that. And surely I would be very interested to see a little more commentary on why you say no. And the rest of you too. Don't be bashful, you guys. This is not controversial. We're just talking about a bill that's actually in the Congress right now, H.R. 6666. It's right there. In fact, I'll show you. It really is. H.R. 6666. I know it's backwards on the screen, but you can see it is 4 6s. So definitely share your thoughts, and we'll come back to you guys here in just a moment. But you're being bashful today. I see Facebook's got a few comments, so let's pop over here to you guys. What's up, guys? Thanks for being here today. See what you have to say about this topic. Feels like romper room when you're saying hi to everyone. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our show today. David says, using technology to help trace and or prevent spreads sounds like a great idea, especially in larger cities like New York City. Sure, you need to consent to it, but I would happily do so. That said, the price tag and progressive wish list of unwanted programs scares me. Yeah, this is always the bad part. You got this $100 billion bill, and why does it cost $100 billion to do this? Now, I know that's kind of saying, okay, you've got a blank check to pretty much do what you want, but that's part of the problem. It might be why, over here, Shirley said, nope, nope, nope. Is it seems like, especially with some of the relief stuff that they've done, giving people stimulus checks and other things, that, okay, where are they getting the money for this? So that's kind of the challenge here, too. It's interesting that you do like the technology. I suppose, in theory, the technology is a good idea. I just worry about, okay, who's gathering that data, who is able to collate that data, who gets to make the determination that you're sick enough to be quarantined in your home again, who determines a lot of things. And it's not specifically enumerated in that bill. Emily says it does violate our privacy. I think if we allow the government to invade our personal lives, then we're going to open up a scenario where the government can take over all aspects of our lives. And there is some precedent for that, where you give a little bit and they take. And I've used this example before, where sometimes they'll raise a tax in a state, for example. They'll raise like a state sales tax by a penny, and the purpose of it is to build a road. Well, when the road is finished being built, do they take the penny away? No, most of the time they don't do that. They keep it in place, and then they use the money for whatever purposes they want. So once you give them the ability to track you and trace you, what keeps them from continuing to do that? In fact, the story I read last week about Apple and Google partnering up very clearly stated, oh, okay, well, we're gonna trace you until this is over. Well, who's going to determine when COVID-19 is over? And will it ever be over? A lot of interesting questions with this right now. Tammy says, I believe it will eventually tie into the Patriot Act and you won't have a choice. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people saying that this is just the first foothold into more power and making this basically a regular part of our lives. You will always be traced. But think about it now. We all have devices. I have an iPhone, iPad, and other devices. I've got a GPS in my car that's smart. It's a smart car. They're already able to geo track us now. And they can see specifically where you've gone, stores you've gone to, places you visited, and they know kind of purchasing habits, and it's been used by businesses, that data, in order to market to you and things like that. So we already have that technology in place. It's already been used. This is now codifying it for a health purpose. Anyway, just thinking down the road, okay, they do this for COVID-19, but then they say, well, what about if we notice that you stop at a store and we see through your purchase history on your phone that you purchase steaks, and we know saturated fat gives you heart disease, so we're going to send a bill to your health insurance company that says, okay, well, they've got to pay a higher premium because they're eating red meat, and we know that causes heart disease. I just spitballing here that this kind of technology could be used for something like that down the road as well. I'm not saying it's gonna, and I'm not being conspiratorial. I'm just saying look at the ramifications of allowing something like this to go into place, of what could happen if it's allowed to happen. Lynn says, I don't like it. Yeah, you're not alone, Lynn. There are a lot of people that have their concerns about this for a whole purpose. So thank you for expressing your opinion. All right, let's pop over here to my YouTube channel, see what you guys have to say. Oh, it looks like my mic's messed up. I'm sorry, guys. I will fix that before the next one. Sorry about that. If I'm muffled, I forget which one is you guys. I'm sorry. I see it. That's what like 99% of the messages was your mic is messed up. RBJ or RJB, sorry, I will strongly object if they do this without my consent. Natalie says hi from Australia. Dopey Denzel says, will this data turn into information about us which companies can sell and profit from? Yeah, when I did this Jimmy Rants last week about Google and Apple, they promised that I'm going to go ahead and take these off because you guys are complaining big time about them. It means I'm going to off here too. So, sorry about that. So when I did that last week, they said, oh, well, they promised that it would not be able to make money off of it. But who are we kidding? Like, somebody's going to make money off of it. Why would Google and Apple so readily jump on this opportunity for contact tracing? I don't know why. If they could profit down the road. So hopefully that fixed the microphone thing because I took the microphone off. So let me know if that helped, if you can hear a little bit better. Sorry it was messed up, you guys. All right, let me hop back over here to my Instagram page. And if you joined us late, we are talking about this HR 6666. That is really the bill number. Going through Congress right now. It's the COVID-19 Testing, Reaching, and Contacting Everyone Trace Act. And it's basically allocating $100 billion as a means of paying for some contact tracing and being able to allow for some of the infrastructure around that. If they find someone that's sick with COVID-19, quarantine them, blah, blah, blah. All right, so let's see if there's anything else here. Shirley says, I'm just really a private person. Normally, it feels like an invasion of my privacy. Well, you're not alone in that thinking. There are a lot of people who feel like It is, and I suppose if it's allowed, what do they do next? What do they take next? That's what the argument always seems to be. Well, if we allow this now, what will they take next? So I get those concerns. There are very real concerns people have in that area. Linda says, I live in Canada. I imagine we will end up doing exactly what the states are doing. We always seem to. I don't think I want that. Feels like eyes will always be on me. Oh, I know they're using the contact tracing technology in Canada as well. So already happening, Linda. Shirley says the $100 billion price tag is also crazy. Like, yeah, I would love when they propose budgets like this and they put it out there of $100 billion. That's just in 2020, and they gave basically an unlimited blank coming years, and so $200 billion. I would love to see a breakdown of, okay, we used $100 million on this, we used $500,000 on that, and da 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 da. But you never get that kind of breakdown. Oh, it's going to cost us $100 billion, which to me that's always kind of fishy. It's like, okay, you got that much money, you can't possibly need that much money for what you're stating here in your bill. So where's the extra money going to? That doesn't make sense at all. All right, thank you guys. I thought I saw another one coming over here. Emily says, also, who is to say that the services won't be denied if someone doesn't agree to the tracking? Yeah, that's the thing. It's like if somebody does not want to implement it and put it on their phone or be a part of it, what do? Like, can they compel you? And that's also the argument that a lot of people are thinking about with this vaccine that they're working on. Will they mandate the vaccine? I don't want to get into that right now, but that's another kind of part of this story and what we're seeing here of eventually, if they do make a vaccine and they claim that it's safe and they claim everything's fine and they claim everybody mandatorily needs to take the vaccine, are we all forced to take it? They try to go down that route, there's enough people that would go, no. So that they would have definitely a you-know-what storm on their hands if they try to mandate people to take a vaccine. All right, Denzel says, yes, it fixed the problem. Yes, sorry guys, when I bought these microphones recently, they were supposed to be one of the best on the market, but apparently not for you guys. Good luck getting my mother to go online, said somebody. Yeah, oh, that's true. There are a lot of people, they are smartphone free. I think about my dad. My dad doesn't have a smartphone. He's got a dumb phone. I think he actually has a flip phone. There are people out there that still actually use a flip phone it's not because he's trying to be disconnected. He's never connected to the internet. He doesn't even know what his son does. Like, I sit here and do these Jimmy rants every day and he's totally oblivious. He has no idea what I do. And so, yeah, how do you reach those people? How do you contact trace those people? And what percentage of the population here in America would need to have to go through this contact tracing? I think it would have to be a whole heck of a lot more than 40%, like they're doing in Australia. This is all going to be so interesting to watch, you guys. Now, again, this is just a bill right now in Congress. It has not become law, so don't think this is already in place and that we're already under this. It hasn't passed anything. I'm assuming as it goes through committee and as it is debated on the floor of the House of Representatives and then over into the Senate, and then President Trump has to sign it into law. So there's a whole lot of things that have to happen for that to become law. But the fact that they even bring this up, I thought warranted putting it on your radar screen so you knew. Anita says, I'm allergic to vaccines. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have adverse reactions to vaccines, and that's something that needs to be considered in all this. I was watching some video the other day that went viral where this lady went into a store and the employees were like berating her to put on a mask, and she's like, I've got some kind of a breathing health issue where I can't put on a mask. I can't have shallow breathing. But they were berating her needlessly over not wearing the mask. And so we got some weird stuff going on with this right now. Shirley says, I noticed your mics were muffled when your neck would touch them. That might be the issue. Thank you. I appreciate that. Over on YouTube. Yeah, here on Instagram, I think the feed is clean the whole time. So it might be a problem with the mic that I use for that phone. But thank you guys for that. Kira says, right to be forgotten. I don't want to be tracked. I don't want the Patriot Act to get my search engine results without a warrant. Think about all the cholesterol doesn't matter results I bring up. Oh, yeah, if you look up my search results, I mean, you're going to see all kinds of fat is healthy. You're going to, there's all kind of things that I've popped into a search engine result. So, I mean, this is just a greater discussion, you guys, and thank you for letting me go here with this topic today, because I know it's a little bit off of the kinds of things I typically talk about here, but I wanted to make sure you were aware that this kind of thing is coming. And of course, you might think, what's this have to do with health? Because I do talk a lot about health. It's going to tap into all those health programs you have on your phone. And like I said, I wear this ring, the Oura ring, and it's got health tracking data for my sleep and for my body temp and my respirations and heart rate variability and heart rate. You could see if I got sick, it would show up pretty quick on the Oura ring. In fact, I'm a part of a study, a COVID-19 study right now using the Oura ring. University of California, San Francisco, I think, is the one doing the study. And every single morning when I wake up, after I look at my Oura test, Oura sleep results and my readiness score and all that stuff, I take this little survey and it says, do you have any of these symptoms? And it's a whole list of all the COVID-19 symptoms. And then usually I say no. Sometimes I'll have one or two of them, a dry cough, diarrhea, whatever. I click those. Then the next page says, have you been tested for COVID-19? Which I thought was interesting. They didn't put, have you been tested for COVID-19 antibodies, just COVID-19. I've not been tested for COVID-19. I did do the antibodies, and it came back negative for both. And then the next screen is, do you know your body temperature? So I went and bought a thermometer. And of course, that was a little more challenging than I thought it was going to be. I went down to my local Walgreens, completely out of thermometers. Then I went over to CVS, completely out of thermometers. So then I drove about 5 miles down the road to the next Walgreens, and thankfully they had two left. One was a Vicks brand, which is a really fast one, and then there was the Walgreens brand. So I bought the Vicks one, and I've been taking my temperature every day now for about a week. Have not been feverish at all. In fact, if anything, it's been a little bit below that 98.6. And so I input that into the study, and then I submit it. And so basically I've been doing that every single day since probably late March, or mid to late March, when I first started in this study. And so I guess they're trying to see if these wearable devices will predict if you get things like COVID-19. So it'll be interesting to see when that data comes out. But this kind of thing, contact tracing, is not going away. There's too much money involved. There's too many companies involved. I also wonder how much of that $100 billion, how much of it's gone to kind of R&D for Google, R&D for Apple to develop some of their software. You know, they didn't really explicitly say it in the bill here, that some of the money would be used for that. They did say mobile health units, so I don't know what that means. They're going to have like little trucks, like blood mobiles all over the place. That's a mobile health unit. What is the mobile health unit? Necessary testing, hire, training, compensating, paying for expenses, personal protective equipment. Yeah, so who knows if that's a part of this as well. But this is not the end of this, but it is certainly something I wanted to bring to your attention here today on Jimmy Rants. So I hope you enjoyed that information, and I'm going to keep looking for that kind of stuff, you guys, not to be alarmist in any way, but to bring it to your attention. Knowledge is power. I know there's a lot of people that get their feelings hurt when they see stuff about COVID-19. Oh my gosh, we have so much negativity. Okay, I agree with you. There is a lot of negativity out there about COVID-19. I am not one of those people providing negativity. I am just providing information. Information will not kill you. I promise you. It may make you think, which is the whole point of what I do in my work. That's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. As always, you can engage live in the content. You got to go follow me over here on Instagram. I'm at Living Low Carb Man, LivinLowCarbMan. Once you are there, engage live in the content. We go live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, sometimes 5 p.m. Eastern Time during the week, and occasionally on the weekends as well. So thanks for being here today. We also simulcast over on Facebook and on YouTube. So thank you all for being here today on Jimmy Rants. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay on IGTV now over here on Instagram. We also throw the replay up over on JimmyRants.com. And then over on YouTube, be sure to type in the keyword Jimmy Rants and you will find the show. So guys, that's it for now. We'll be back again real soon with another episode of Jimmy Rants. Bye. Alrighty then. Yeah, sorry about that, YouTube. I didn't realize my microphone was messing up with you guys. So, I mean, the main microphone I use for Instagram Live, the audio is always pristine. So I just assumed it was with you guys. I haven't really listened back to a lot of the live streams. So my apologies if that happened before. Maybe it just started happening. But I'll try to fix that. I'll just probably just not turn on the Bluetooth on you guys so that it doesn't do that again. So my apologies. But thank you for being here, you guys. Interesting times we are living in right now, that's for sure. I still think the irony of it being 6666, that's just too weird. Or maybe it's my Protestant upbringing that I recoil in fear over 666. Cheers, says Denzel. Thank you for that. HCS says, I think it was rubbing. Yeah, it probably was rubbing up against my neck, especially when I got some stubble like I've got today. That's probably what it was. It was just... So, sorry about that. I think the audio is pretty good without those microphones, but especially on the main audio. I air the recordings of these, a lot of them, on my podcast. So I try to use this microphone as a means for making sure that the audio is as pristine as possible. It's still a little bit funky monkey. It's not a perfect microphone sound, but it's good enough for the podcast. So, all right, well, let me get off of here for now. It is getting that time of night where I start to drift out. So I am a very early to bed kind of guy. Usually by 8 to 8:30, I'm asleep, which means I'm in bed probably 7:45 to 8 o'clock. And then I'm wide awake at like 3:30 in the morning. So that's how I roll. Audio is perfect on Facebook, David. Yeah, David, I never use a microphone with you guys. I just let the iPad audio. So I use the iPad Pro over here. And so it's got 4 microphones on it, so I think it picks me up pretty good. The only downside to this room is I've got hardwood floor, and I've got not a lot of things on the wall, and then I've got basically a flat ceiling, and so everything, it just bounces off the ceiling. If I could definitely put up some kind of sound barriers on the wall, it would sound a lot better in here, but I'm not worried about that. You guys get the gist of what we're doing here. So, alrighty then. Well, let me get off of here. I've got a whole bunch of Jimmy Rants in store for you guys this week. So stay tuned. Loaded for bear. Definitely 11 a.m. the rest of the week, Monday through Friday. And if I can fit it in, if I'm not tired. I was a little bit tired tonight, so a little bit energy down from normal. But if I have the energy, I will definitely do some 5 p.m. ones the rest of the week as well, and probably over the weekend too. So thanks for being here today. We'll be back again soon. Bye. All right, you guys. Thank you for being here today. Always a pleasure to have you. It was clear when it wasn't rubbing. Yeah, I'll work on making sure that if I have it up there, it's not. So, you live and learn. Thank you for letting me know, though, you guys. Thanks so much for watching the live stream. And yeah, definitely watch the replay. If you got some of the muffled kind of made it distracting, then go watch the replay when we post it up here within the next hour or so. You'll be able to see it over there. So thanks for being here. We'll see you again soon. Bye.